and welcome back to SHEDCAST here at the Shedinburgh Fringe Festival as part of the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. This is a space for creative conversations with teams, guests, members of our wonderful programme here at Shedinburgh. We hope that you enjoyed our last one. We hope that you have liked and subscribed and done all that business you're meant to do. But beyond all that, it's my particular pleasure to introduce you to Nicola and Rosie Dempsey. You may know them as Flo and Joan. They are stalwarts of the Fringe of the last few years. They are hilarious. They are brilliant. They are here. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Lovely.
Thank you. We're fine. How are you?
I am brilliant. People won't know how many times that intro took to take, so I am delighted. So welcome. You've arrived in Edinburgh today, is that right? Yesterday.
Yeah.
And I understand you've already been gobbling up some shows, getting out there, seeing some things.
So no folks out.
Yeah.
Like a little Pac-Man going through Fringe, just eating.
Is that how you? I mean, I truthfully, I just know that you've been to see our show today. But like, what are you like when you get to the festival? Do you like to just get out there and see loads of things, or do you try to get your head in the show for a while? What do you like to do?
I always like to see other people's shows because it keeps me grounded and reminds me that the festival is fun. Because if you're focusing too much on your own show, you start to get a bit too inside yourself, and you have to remember that this is the largest festival in the world, and there are other people here having a good time. So I like to get out as fast as I can. Do the tech on the first day.
Yeah.
Rewrite all of the bad bits, that happens every time.
Yeah.
And then go and see a clown to feel good again.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Now you can tell the bad bits are there just from the tech.
Yeah.
It usually takes a few shows for people. That's quite a skill.
Well, we can usually tell it from the moment that we submit our application to the Edinburgh Fringe. What's a terrible title we've chosen? We don't have a poster. What's a terrible concept? The tech is usually us still writing.
Actually, yeah, I can't remember the last time we came up to Edinburgh where we weren't writing. I'm going to use the word chunks of the show on up on the train.
But isn't that just part of when you know your rhythm and you know what you do and you know how you want it to feel live and fresh. Like if you're saying you like to go and see other shows, you don't like to be too in it, then some people would look at that as a bad thing or unprepared or whatever. But there's also a piece of work's never finished. And if you were to say, well, we've submitted it, it's written, we'll do it in a couple of weeks. I kind of struggle with that idea because you think if there's a better version of it, if you can see it, then grab it. You know?
And if you've got the chance to change it as well, like sometimes you're like, oh, we need to fix that, and then you never ever do. And every time, like for us, every time we sing it or every time you say it, you're like, I wish we'd changed that 7 years ago when we wrote this. So at least in Edinburgh, as soon as you see a problem, you're like, we can change that for tomorrow, and we will actually change it for tomorrow. It's quite nice. Or like I've seen it. I've looked at it in the Google Doc on the way up. Let's just change it now. Otherwise, it will annoy me every time I have to say it for the rest of my life.
What is it then about the Fringe that makes that happen for you then, that you are able to change the things you want to change as opposed to being on tour? Is it something about the surrender of being here for that time that you're more in it? Or is it just a special vibe?
I don't know. Maybe it's just...
I think it's an excitement because you're here for the month, and we'll often tour a show after Edinburgh. So you're like, let's get the knots out in Edinburgh. We try and make it as good as we can for Edinburgh and get it to where we're happy to do it for a month. But you're also thinking like, this is the time to change it if we can. Or you'll go and see someone else's show and be like, oh, that walking music does so much. We should like do better walking music or something like that. So you're constantly being inspired or excited by other people that makes you want to just keep playing theatre tennis with people and ideas.
Yeah, and it feels like a little science experiment as well. Like you've got your control, which is your show, and then your audiences are changing every day. It literally feels like year 9 science again, where you're like, if I just change this one thing, they're obviously not exactly the same audience, but in general, it's like the only time you get to just like do something over and over and over again in the same situation, like for the most part, as much as you can control it. And we do try to control it. You get to like just do it over and over again and be like, that never works. Well, they always hate that, which I kind of love.
Year 9 science for us was very much like, what can we burn on the Bunsen burner as well? The teacher's out the room.
Yeah.
Very a lot of science being done, which is a bit like the Fringe as well.
Yeah. Putting your head into a Bunsen burner every single day. Or attaching, we always used to like attaching the electrical wires to people's braces.
That's right. Yeah.
And seeing
crocodile clips.
Yeah.
Those crocodile clips should have been locked away. They were so easily accessible. Oh, poor kids. So take us back then. First ever Fringe, be that as an audience member or as your act, or maybe you started individually. Tell us the journey of how you got to be Fringe acts.
I think I was I don't know how I found out about Edinburgh, because I didn't know about it until
It's been here for hundreds of years.
And it is lovely. I'd never heard of the Fringe. Our parents didn't know anything. Like, I just didn't know anyone who went. I didn't know anyone who took shows there who had ever been. And so somehow, while in my final year of uni, I didn't do any like drama or anything at uni.
What did you study?
Music. And
You were going to say science there.
Oh gosh, imagine. I just had I'm not thinking quickly enough to come up with something funny, unfortunately. I was trying to, doesn't matter. I won't tell you what I was trying to get to, because it's only going to be disappointing.
Nicola.
The braces thing, I don't know. My science experiment was something about wearing a big hat with loads of braces and wires on it. But
There we go.
I've never explained it.
But see, tomorrow when we do this again,
This is it.
you'll have nailed it.
Oh, yeah. I'll get the setup right, and I won't doubt myself when I go to say it.
Right, so I interrupted you. You were saying your last year of uni at music.
At music, doing music at uni. I honestly do not know how I heard about it, but somehow heard about it. And my roommate she was doing English and was going on to do creative writing afterwards and loved like plays and all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, I've heard about this thing called Edinburgh, and there's like a load of comedy and theatre and stuff. Like, do you want to go with me? And it was 2012. It was the London Olympic year.
2012.
Yeah, 2012.
20,000 years in the future.
20,000 years in the future. 2012. Fuck you. It was 2012, and so everyone was just really happy because it was also like the Olympics. It just felt like everyone was and it was just this like, stop laughing.
Sorry, everyone's so happy because the Olympics.
I don't know. It just felt like a nice year, or maybe it was that I just graduated. Like, there were lots of things that just made
it was quite a sunny summer as well.
It was a sunny summer. It just felt very nice, and we went up just for like a couple of days, stayed in little bunk beds in a hostel, and just went to just see a bunch. Like, didn't know anything, didn't know any comedians. And just like picked a bunch of stuff and were like, this is the greatest thing I've ever been to. This is amazing. And I'd had like an idea of like, I might want to do comedy one day. Maybe that'd be a thing. And went up to Edinburgh. I was like, oh yeah, this is amazing. Came home and said to you, I think we have to go to Edinburgh next year. I think you'd really like it. So we went up the next year and did the same, of like, just watched a bunch of random stuff. But we weren't doing any comedy. We
just went as fun punters.
We just went as punters.
We were just punters.
We went as punters. But we weren't doing Flo and Joan. That wasn't even a conversation. It wasn't.
Do you know what's funny as well? We picked so many shows based on how long the queue was outside the venue. Because I remember walking past, was it
Ostentatious?
Oh yeah, near the pear. Is it near the pear tree? What's that pub?
The pear tree.
And there was always queues outside there, and we would walk past every day and be like, "What is that? We have to go. We have to go." It's so funny, like knowing how we pick shows now compared to how we pick shows when we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
you pick them from the posters and things when you didn't know.
That's the true punter experience.
Yeah.
The more you get involved as an artist, the more you do it, the more you know people, and you think you get a list of people who like you love, and you think, well, I need to see their show, I need to see their show, I need to see their show, and you sort of lose that feeling. I was just saying to somebody before that I love it when mates from school come through. Maybe they've come through to see me, and then we'll hang around for a few hours, and they'll have picked completely other stuff that I've never, completely outside of what I'd have picked.
Yeah.
Or like, and I like to try and sometimes just go, right, what's on now, and just make sure I do that a bunch of times, because then you see someone you would never have seen. And then that year 2013 was as exciting for you both, seeing all the stuff.
Yes.
Again, like another hostel, a lovely little hostel.
Yeah, that one on Cowgate, right outside Seven Sisters.
Yeah,
we're in there. Do you remember that German person who was above us on the big bunk bed?
The biggest person I've ever seen in my life, who slept naked every night, face down. And we'd get into our little pajamas and in our little hostel.
Good night, Nicola.
Yeah, he'd be like, getting all our flyers together for the next day. What should we do tomorrow?
Or Seven Sisters is like booming through the windows.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Yeah, and then we didn't do it. We didn't do a show until 2016. That was the first year we did one.
And so, did you know when you left that year, having watched things together, that was something you were going to work towards, or was it still not even in the pipeline?
No, it was still just like a hobby, I think. Like a little, I was like, I think I'm going to try and do comedy in some way, but not, again, was just like, I don't know how you do it, but like these people seem to be having fun. But we didn't, I think, were you still at uni?
In 2013.
Yeah.
I just finished. I was working in the pub.
Yeah. So like it wasn't, you're still watching it being like, I don't actually know, if I did want to do that, I don't actually know how you do it.
Yeah.
And what would I do if I was going to go up and do that?
Yeah.
But it just seemed really cool and fun. Oh God, what lovely time.
Is there a show that stands out from that time that was it just the whole experience of it?
What did we see?
I think like in general, the whole experience, the only one that stands out in my head, and I think it's also because it's still here and I didn't know, like had never heard of it before, was Baby Wants Candy, which is like an improvised musical, an improvised musical. And was like, I've heard of improv and I like music, so maybe I'll like this, and like had never seen it, and it seemed like the most amazing. It just blew my mind to the point where I don't want to ever go and see them again, because I'm sure they are still incredible. I mean, they still do amazing, but I loved that experience of seeing them the first time so much that I just can't. I don't want to ever see them again and be like, oh, it actually wasn't that good. Like, what was I? I just want to save that little like.
Yeah, it's so tied in with the moment.
Yeah,
it's almost like if you go back to, I don't know, you go back anywhere and see what it was like in reality.
Yeah,
you have such a, well, your favorite experiences are about revisiting them in your mind and how they crystallize. I think the Fringe is full of so many of those. You probably, if you see in a show at 11 o'clock at night and it's totally spellbound you go back there and you're like, oh, it was actually quite cold.
Yeah,
it was actually quite. Oh, it was,
it stinks in here. Why did I not see that last? Or like, why did I not realize that last time?
Yeah, it's magic. You never get those feelings back ever. We know too much now.
Yeah,
we know way too much.
Yeah.
I can't watch an improv show now.
Right, done.
Won't do it.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
see the cogs turning.
Yeah, you can see them. You can see the
desperation.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like it's that thing with a magic trick. Whenever you find out how simple it is, always got it. There's a the classic pull your thumb off trick.
Yeah,
I won't blow viewers' minds by doing it, and it'd be wasted on those that are listening. But I used to do that for my daughter when she was about 4 or 5. It'd blow her mind, and but I told her I'd tell her how it's done when she's 18, and she was. But I try not to do it because she'd very clearly see the mechanics of it, and I'm just now trying to prolong that feeling she has of it being magic.
Yeah,
before like it becomes utterly and instantly rubbish.
Yeah,
and the magic is gone. So hopefully we can keep that going for a while. You don't go back and see Baby Wants Candy. Other people should, though.
I wish them a very successful. I wish them. I hope they have a lovely, wonderful Fringe event.
Yeah.
And thank you for that. Thank you for 2013.
But you, for one, will not be.
I will not be there.
What about for you then? Is there a show then across even from that first year that stays with you, or a show from across the years that stands out as the best one?
From that first visit, no, I really can't remember much of what we saw when we went as punters. But when we did our first show in 2016, I remember seeing the Cagoules.
All right, tell me more.
Who were a double act. I think they still do things, I'm not sure. It was in the caves, and I don't think we've been into the caves. And the caves for me is like sort of one of the most Edinburgh experiences you can have. Sucking in all the asbestos. And it was so imaginative, and I hadn't really seen that much sort of Fringe stuff before then, and that blew my mind. And you watch that and you think, well, if that can happen, this could happen, and then you start to get more ideas and be more impressed. The more we went back, I think I watched it a couple of times and sent lots of people to it, where they dived behind the screen and this as like swimmers. This is the International Club for Swimming. And then they'd be filmed swimming, and it blew my mind. And I was like, we're in a cave as well, and I'm watching 2 amazing performers in a cave. That that really opened my eyes up. I think I was so narrow-minded as to what entertainment was. It was just TV for me.
Yeah.
And like musicals that come into your hometown. That was entertainment to me. So that one stands out. It's like sort of probably like unlocking the first door in my head of what Edinburgh could be.
Yeah. So were you performing together before the festival, or did you work towards saying, let's start doing this and let's do it there? Or did you start performing with each other like at home? Where is home, by the way?
Portsmouth.
So were you doing stuff there and then, or did you just go? Because it seems to me like when you have a thought in your head, like I'd like to do comedy one day, it's probably something that you hold quite close to you, and then don't really do around the people that you spend time with.
Exactly that.
So Edinburgh becomes this like portal almost to the person you want to try out being. Is that accurate, or is that?
That's so true.
Yeah.
That really is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
We started doing this in Canada probably for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Probably subconsciously for those reasons, not on purpose. But we had the same feeling of
There was still the chance someone in Edinburgh might know you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We never did any performing like comedy or anything like that together. But Nicola went out to Toronto to do some comedy stuff, and then I joined for a bit of fun, and then we just ended up writing some songs together for fun. And then a year passed, and we were like, we've got about 50 minutes of material. We could take that to Edinburgh and just see how it flies. Which we did, but it didn't ever feel like we were working towards it. And I think we ended up having probably my favourite Edinburgh was the first one, because we had no expectations and no hopes. We were just showing a 50 minutes of material that we had.
Yeah, let's see what this feels like.
Yeah, and it was weird having friends and family come up to Scotland, because they were like, we know you've been doing songs in Canada, but like, what is this? What is this nonsense?
Yeah.
And then came up and we had a lovely Fringe, and I think everyone was like, what's happening here? So yeah, it was a portal for sure.
And was it once you did that 50? Did you say 15 or 50?
50.
Yeah, I didn't realise when we started that you could do the same material more than once at a gig. So every gig we did, we wrote a full new set. We didn't keep all of, like, some of it was terrible and like got cut, but very quickly we were like, well, we've got an hour's worth of, or 50 minutes worth of stuff.
Yeah, wow.
Because we thought that that's how little we knew about comedy. We were like, well, you can't do the same thing again. People will be bored.
Yeah.
And people will be like, why are you doing the same song? And you're like, no, that's literally how you get better. And like, we obviously like eventually learned it, but it did mean that we just generated a lot of material very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And we didn't know about awards, that Edinburgh had awards or newcomers or anything like that.
To be alive.
When we did the first Fringe, had our 55 minutes. And then when we did Fringe the year after, and we wrote a new show, and our agent was like, you could probably just do last year's show if you want. And we were like, we could have done that.
Yeah.
We didn't really, I mean, it helped us get more material, but.
And also just like going in with, the only expectation was, let's see if this works here. Because we knew that we were on like visas. So we knew we were going to have to leave Canada the year after, and had started doing Flo and Joan. And we're like, well, I guess we should go to Edinburgh because that's what people do. And it will also tell us, it's going well in Canada, but it will also tell us if it works at home. Because if we're about to move home and do this and this doesn't work, we could just pull the plug on it now. Like, we'll do one show and be like, you know what, this doesn't work. It was fun while it lasted. Close the portal, lock it, eat the key, run away.
Never go back.
Never go back. So it was just a fun way of being like, let's just see what this is with no expectations. And it ended up being the most fun Edinburgh that we've had. Like green little goblins.
Green little goblins, yes, that was what I was thinking as well.
But that I think there is something to be said about not knowing the rules.
Yeah.
To hitting it and doing your own thing, and then you find out who you are at the same time as you find out how you exist in that space, and then people find you and they find something that's completely you, and not gone in ahead saying, right, well, how does it look when you go there? What are the rules I need to follow? And then it starts to look and sound like everything else, you know?
Yeah.
So like that naivety creates such a wellspring of creativity.
Yeah.
I think, which is amazing. So we got all these questions. Thank you, Hannah Walton, for asking. That you're not in the room, but I'm gun you down.
Hannah Walton.
Yeah, Hannah Walton. Listen, we should get that coffee all together that we're talking about.
Wow.
Who simply asks, who is your favourite all-time musical comedy act?
Ooh.
Mr. Blobby. It's my instinct.
Listen, Mr. Blobby was,
legend. He got number one.
Yeah.
We've not got a number one.
That's a really difficult question because I don't have a straight answer for that. I think the two biggest influence I would say were Victoria Wood when we were kids, and then Tim Minchin when we were teenagers, because she introduced silliness and he introduced angst. And I think probably what we do now is a mixture of both. So I'd say they were both the biggest influences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There also aren't that many to choose from.
Now in my adult age, I've been watching more we always know about Tom Lehrer, but I've sort of really, rest in peace, I've sort of watched a lot of his stuff recently and been so admirable. I've been so admiring of his skill and charm. It's absolutely entrancing to watch.
Yeah, one of the all-time greats. We had poisoning pigeons in the park at our wedding. Which is
that's the first one we ever saw was poisoning pigeons. I remember thinking, wow, this is a song, but this is a cool kind of song. This is different to the ones on the radio.
We were saying that as 7-year-olds, watching probably a 70-year-old man at that point, going, what a cool song and a cool man. And it's him singing light comedy.
But it's true though, because you don't get that stuff on the radio. Like I love Ivor Cutler, right? I don't know if you know Ivor Cutler. He's one of my all-time favourites, and you would never hear him on the radio. And he's daft, he's absurdist, he's songs such as I Need Nothing, I've Everything I Need, I Walk Along the Dusty Track, A Donut in My Hand. And it's wonderful. But when you find those people, there's a real truth to them. And I think that's what people don't necessarily think of with comedy music as a genre, that it gets to, like Victoria Wood got to truth. Dimension gets to truth. And if the objective is just to make people laugh with the song, that's fine, that's one thing. But I think when you do it right and you commit to it, you're getting to something deeper, which I think you guys do. And is that something you set off to do, or is it just like writing other songs that you think, this is what we want to talk about, this is funny? How do you build a song? Because you spoke about the process of changing it live in front of people, and well, not live in front of people, but over the run. What are you burrowing down into? Is it always chasing the laugh, or is it always getting to the heart of a song, if you will?
I think it's changing. I think it's maybe changing a bit now. We haven't actually written songs for Flo and Joan for like a while, actually. Like just for like our own sets, I would say. And I think that our approach has changed. Whereas I think in the beginning we were just writing what was on our mind and what was funny, and some of it was like topical, or I think it's mostly truthful, other than like when you're intentionally like, this is a fun one, like who cares?
Wordplay, speed, stuff like that.
But I think like probably after that first Edinburgh, or like a little bit later, I think maybe I've just got like a little chip on my shoulder about it. But I think people do, other comedians have some opinions on musical comedy. And so I think we went really, and God bless them all, I have opinions on stand-up. We've expressed our interest on improv. I will get to sketch. But I think I think people often think that musical comedy is a bit soft and it's not real comedians doing it. So we then were like, it's jokes first. Jokes are the most important. If we're calling ourselves musical comedians, the jokes have to come first. Otherwise, we're just quirky singer-songwriters, and we don't sing nicely enough to fall into that bracket. So we have to, it was jokes first, and then everything else secondary. But I think probably we always sort of flip-flop. It's just like the ideas that we have for songs are they do come from everywhere. So sometimes it's like, I want to sing a song about what it feels like to walk home at night as a woman, and then in the same show you have a song which is like, what if one of us had an alien as a boyfriend? Like, great. And one of them, the alien boyfriend one, was driven by, I want a song that sounds like mid-90s R&B, and the walking home song was, I walked home and it was horrible. Like, they sort of, it runs the gamut, I think. Gamut?
Runs away from Gannett.
Runs from
whilst running the gamut.
Okay.
What is a gamut? I've no idea what a gamut is. One of those words we use.
Yeah. It's like when you're playing a game and you're losing, so you throw the game on the floor and you go, gamut.
There you go.
That's what it
Done.
is.
That is definitely the answer.
Yeah.
It might be.
Yeah,
Exactly. It definitely is. Don't look it up. It's fine. We have the answer now. I was going to lead it. I see that I get distracted by gamuts.
I wondered if it was like, I often imagine it as like a track that's like, that's like,
Just apologise to an inanimate object.
I was apologising to the sound, because me hitting that has probably affected the sound.
You're like, so sorry.
This isn't important, doesn't matter.
No, what's a gamut?
I was going to say, I wondered if a gamut was like a track that's like very round. So running the gamut, you have to like really run really hard.
Yeah.
To like get from like one end to the other.
You get enough momentum
to get up to the other side.
like
so you have to have like strong thighs to like run down something that steep and then push yourself up the
and then get the turnaround of pace and,
Yeah.
and keep that driving forward.
Yeah.
Again, that's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
Don't look it up.
I learned that.
A word can mean two things.
Yeah.
So then looking at that, Johnny, then you coming here, trying the songs, not knowing you could do the same show twice in a row and all that stuff. But it seems in the last few years, so last year's great show, One Man Musical, and then this year, the show that you're doing work in progress with here at the Shed, The Birds. It feels like you're moving in, what would we call it, moving into the next phase or expanding or just, naturally evolving into writing for other people. I mean, I don't know if The Birds will be something you'll go on to do yourselves or
Ever.
if you want.
I think the audience would hope not.
We're going to find out tonight whether The Birds is going to be done by anyone ever again.
But it certainly seems to be that you are now going, right, well, what happens if we write for other people? Like what happens and what's the thinking behind that? Has Edinburgh played a part in that thinking as you've gone through the years, or is it just something else that's waking up inside of you that you want to explore, or what's the thinking behind that?
I think it is a waking up and an exercising of our brains. We often fall into writing story songs, and a lot of our more listened to songs, or the ones that people quote, are often these lots of long stories. And we were like, it would be a shame to sort of not keep on exercising that. We've always loved musicals and theatre. We've had so much fun doing it last year. We were like, why would we stop? This is so fun. So we'll always do Flo and Joan. We won't be able to leave that alone.
Yeah.
It's exciting. You get to work with loads of different people. It's really fun. And telling stories, I think, is just so fun.
Yeah. And I feel like we're good at what we do as Flo. Like we've worked out how we do Flo and Joan, but we're also, I'm not an actor. You're a good actor.
I do the best I can.
Yeah. Like we're limited in what we are able to do. We can play the piano and we can sing and we can write songs, but we can't perform them. We can't sing. Like we could write a musical, but we wouldn't be able to sing. We're not musical theatre performers. We can't do that.
The vision you have for that specific thing wouldn't fit the style you like to sing in, because everyone who's watching would say, well, no, I've seen you sing very well.
We write songs.
There's a specific thing to write for a musical in that style and that scale and ambition and the harmonies and all that stuff.
We're limited. What we can do has a limit, but how we can sing and how we perform has a limit. But what we want to see if we can do, that like there is more to that we sort of wanted to see if that was like worth exploring. And you're so right. Like when we did One Man last year, we worked with we've worked with a director, Tom Parry, before on our tour show. And we worked with the director Georgie State on One Man, and we worked with George Fouracres, who performed it for us. And working with two other people was so fun, working out how to, it was like, I think One Man was very in our voice, but there were also, we wrote a lot of it before we cast George like 3 weeks before we started in Edinburgh. He performed the whole show once before we started here. Insane, testament to how incredible he was. He's alive. He's at the Globe.
Still has all this talent.
Yeah. He's literally doing Shakespeare at the Globe right now. He's doing very well. We being out, like he came in and did certain things where we had a song for his sort of ballad towards the end of the show. We'd written a song, and then we watched his audition tape, and he sang. He chose a song for his audition tape that we both cried watching it.
Wow.
And we're like, well, we have to write a song that is more like that for him, because that's going to show, like, we wouldn't have naturally gravitated towards that song. And then we watched him do it and we're like, oh, well, we have to do that, like working out how to write for other people. Yeah.
It's
and like,
joy. It's joy. You get bored of your own voice.
Yeah.
You get bored of talking shit. You're on tour for days and then you're like, shut up. Can I just give this song to someone else?
Yeah.
Can someone else sing it for a hot sec?
Yeah. And we got to like have our cake and eat it too, because we played in the band behind him. So you get the enjoyment of all the laughs of like, I wrote that joke and they laughed at that. Great. But you don't have to take all the pressure. We put all the pressure on him of performing. So we got to watch our own show every night and watch someone neither of us would ever been able to have performed that. There was just never a world where it was like, well, what if one of us does it? It had to be someone else, and that was just such a fun thing to do.
And it feels like, from what you're saying, that moment where you've cried at what he's doing, it's opened up something else in you, and you get further to the truth. You're like, oh, I have this in me, but I didn't know it. And but he has it, and if we feed that, then we keep growing and we keep keep going. And so, with the birds, is that something that you're going to try and do for next year's Fringe, or is it something that you just are saying, we'll take this opportunity to try the stuff out and we'll see what happens?
We have no idea. Well, I'd say we have no idea, right?
As in, we'll take the opportunity and see what happens.
Take the opportunity, because it's a monologue. It's a one-person show.
No songs.
Not one. So for us, it was...
And we'll see how everyone's going to feel like that today. I'm ready for this audience to be looking around the shed, looking for the keyboard that we've read in.
I'm ready for them to. Well, I'm ready for that moment where you go like, oh, amazing, another thing, because you didn't have comedy when you were doing the songs. You brought that in and you got excited by it, and I think there's something quite infectious about the hunger you have for going. But we want to try that, and we don't quite know how yet, but we'll give it a shot, and then we'll fill it with our passion, and I'm sure they'll be equally as enthralled with it without the keyboard, and they'll not,
We'll see.
So there you go.
That was like definitely like the fun of doing it was like, let's see if we can do it, and also if we can't, we tried.
Yeah.
And what an amazing place to do it, and like what an incredible opportunity for someone to be like, you can do whatever you want. And we were like, let's write a play.
I don't know if we would have ever sat down and written a monologue.
Never.
If we weren't given this opportunity to try something different.
And we might not be good at it, and it might not be that good, and that's also absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Which is quite. I don't think I've ever come up to Edinburgh and thought, a little bit last year actually, but like, I've never come up to Edinburgh and thought, if this doesn't go well, I'm absolutely fine with that. Like we start again on Monday and do something else. Every other Edinburgh has been, if this goes wrong. And also, how are you starting that with if this goes wrong? You're like, just do the show. What can go wrong? Like, but like you come up and you put all that pressure on. You're like, if this is bad, then like that's it. Like we're gonna be a laughing stock. Everyone's gonna think that we're idiots. And so you carry that throughout the whole of Fringe, every single show. And like, obviously, like we're doing one show this year, which is quite nice. We're like, well, if they didn't like it, at least I don't have to do it for another 25 days.
Back up,
which is lovely. Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah, absolutely.
I already packed my suitcases on the side of the stage. I'm pretending they're part of the shed. I'm gonna run out the wall of the shed. You'll just see me while we're. But it was like a lovely way of being like, let's try it. Let's see. And if we're not good, if this isn't a thing that we either enjoy or that we're excelling at, or not even excelling at, of just like. Let's just see. Which is
I reckon there'll be a kernel in it. Whatever happens, that you'll drive with. I get that impression.
We've learned a lot doing it so far.
Yeah,
great.
It's quite hard to do a monologue for an hour.
And when you say to someone, we're doing a monologue, they go, "Oh my god, a monologue!" And you're like, "Don't."
Like, who's going to read it? One of us?
Yeah.
Oh god.
So who is going to read it?
Rosie.
I'm going to do it, but it wouldn't be if it lives beyond
7 p.m.
7 p.m. tonight. It will be handed over to someone. So we've tried to actually be not too pernickety with the editing, because I'm sure if there was anything in it and we passed it on to someone else, we would write it to them.
Yeah.
So which was also been a joy to stop being so such perfectionist with all the words. Just try the idea and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's such a part of your generous spirit, that when you find that person, like you did with One Man Musical, that you think, well, actually they'll be performing it, and from years and years of doing songs and reacting to the audience, that they'll bring something. So don't call it finished. Bring it to a state where they can mold it to themselves, and then the show will be the best thing that the audience can experience, which is absolutely lovely. Now I've got some quick fire questions. You can answer them in any order you like, but I'd like to come to both of you. Your favourite food spot in Edinburgh during the Fringe?
Ting Tai Caravan.
Excellent. Delicious. Do try. I'm not as if I'm going to say don't try, but that is a big tick.
I would have said Ting Tai Caravan as well. I'm also a sucker for the fish and chip van on the bit by. Is it George Square?
Oh yeah.
Late night. Every now and again, I just really like a good like fish and chip, just the chips.
Yeah, I've never tried it, but it smells amazing.
This is it,
and it's like you said with going back to Baby Wants Candy. Like the smell of that van is so good that I'm scared to try it.
Yeah.
In which case, I lose the joy I have
Yeah.
of the smell of that van. But I encourage other people to try it.
Great chips.
Hold your nose as you go up. It smells delicious, but
Yeah.
save yourself the just have a full tasting experience. Okay, so you're only up for a while, but what's your top tip from anything you've seen in the program? Something you'd like to see that you might not get to, or something that you think will be a surefire hit for this year?
10,000 hours.
Oh yeah, I've seen that advertised.
Yeah, I saw it. It was up last year. I watched it on your recommendation, and it was like early in the morning and on the, I don't know if it's still there this year, but the assembly on the hill.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. In any other time, I would not be trudging up that hill at 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it was. But for some reason I did. And I absolutely loved it. I love watching in Edinburgh things that I can't do. I think that's like also like a tip of my, well, not a tip, but like a thing that I make sure I do if I'm getting in my head or like feeling quite stressed about shows is, and my favorite also bit about Edinburgh is going to watch things where I'm like, I could never do that. So all I can do is sit back and be like really impressed at someone who is able to do a thing that I can't do and be really good at it.
Can't compare yourself. You can only be inspired.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
And so 10,000 hours was exactly, it's an acrobat show. I can't forward roll. And it's like, it's all built on the...
Yet.
Yes, correct. We'll put that in the play. Yeah. I'll just forward roll throughout it as you're doing the talking. Acting, whatever you call it.
Talking, acting,
getting through it. It's about the idea of like, it takes 10,000 hours to be an expert in something. And these people are acrobats. And it takes you from like the first... I don't think this is in the show, and I don't know if it is the same show or if they've changed it or whatever. But like, for example, like to become a basketball player, they would start the thing of like, just like bouncing a ball once. And then by the end of it, they're like, there's 50 people sat on each other's shoulders dunking a basketball or something. Like that doesn't happen in it. I can't think of like an example of
they
what
do.
happens.
It's one where they do balancing, just doing a handstand. Like you sort of, the first thing you learn handstand, or the first thing you learn roly poly, and then in 8 minutes, all of a sudden there's 6 people doing handstands on each other's shoulders, throwing people through the air. It made me really emotional.
Yeah, same.
To be like, this is the craft. This is the 10,000 hours. We'll show you the simple bit, and we'll show you where you are now. I think it's the simplest, cleanest, sharpest way I've ever seen a show about the love of a thing, the love of something. Mm-hmm. I thought it was gorgeous.
Do you know what also got me? Again, it must have been, I think I saw it maybe the penultimate day of Fringe, 11 o'clock in the morning, very emotional, was the...
You're just sad in the mornings, is that all that says?
Yeah, because I'm awake. I'm like, oh God, again. Why? Yeah, no, that's not true. They do these sort of big, like, say for example, like they're all stacking on each other's shoulders. I'm being very inelegant of the way that they're doing the show, but say for example, they're all stacking. You
are a mere funter. You have to remember.
This is true.
You are not an expert in acrobatics.
Yes, great. And so like the final thing they needed to do to like finish this section was like toss someone up and they land on the top of the pyramid, for example, and it would like buckle, or they tossed someone up and they didn't make it. It didn't work. The trick or the act failed. And they all gathered around the person, congratulated them, like hugged them. It was so watching, or if they did it and it was successful, they all tapped each other on the back. It was just for themselves. Like it wasn't sort of out to the audience or anything or performative. And I think also I'm very grateful that we're in a duo, because I can't imagine having to do this. Obviously, you're not completely on your own, but not maybe I'm insecure or whatever. But when a show goes badly, nothing makes it easier than being able to turn to another person and be like, "Fucking hell, that was horrible, wasn't it?" And you, yeah, and either the other person going, the other person, like it's anyone else, it's you saying, yeah, that was really bad. Or it actually was, I can see why you think it was bad. That wasn't bad. And so we have that as a 2, but we're not tapping each other on the back every day going,
get off my shoulders.
The absolute opposite. Yeah, we're like the bugs in A Bug's Life, the little wood lice. But like watching a group of people, just something going wrong, and just knowing that everyone on that stage with you is like, it doesn't matter, we've got another one. It just, I think, got me really emotional, where I was like, this thing doesn't work if they're not all on board and they all like have each other's back. It just, at that point in Edinburgh, I was like, this is incredible. And I burst into tears.
Oh, lovely. Now I'm going to tell that as both your answer because you both spoke so well
Yes,
about
yes.
it.
So it's quick
great.
fire. And
That's great.
That's
Quick fire questions. The answers, the more.
It's now the 10,000 hours podcast. I've just another question about roly-polies.
Your best Fringe night out.
We were talking about this earlier. I have had some good nights at the Flick, which isn't there this year. And any night that ends in walking up Arthur's Seat, that's a goodie. Doesn't happen usually the last night. That's a good one. That's a good night out. Last year we went home at about 9 p.m. and watched the Celine Dion documentary, and that was a nice good night out. We had Italian sauce that George cooked us. That was a good night out. Famously in. Yeah, that's my answer. The Flick / Arthur's Seat.
Yeah.
Is that yours?
I always I'm biased because we do it, but I always like Stamptown as like a late night variety chaos monster. I think it's I like taking friends to see it.
Yeah.
To see how they react. And also to be like, this isn't all of Fringe, but also I don't think you're going to pick to see any people on this lineup independently. And I don't think you understand that this exists in the world often. So I like taking them to that, to watch them they all just come away being like, what? I don't. And they did, and they pulled that from, and you're like, yeah, this is what some of us get up to as well. I quite like as like go and watch that and see what happens.
Excellent. Brilliant. And so our last question of the quickfire round and of this episode is your top tip for surviving the Fringe while you're here.
Electrolytes and doing things outside of the festival. Going to the beach, going to a little market somewhere.
Which beach?
Portobello is the only one I know.
Yeah. Which we went to North Berwick the other day and saw dolphins. I still kind of got over it. I know, right? I know.
How far is it from here?
I couldn't tell you because we drive from Glasgow, but it's probably 40 minutes. But we couldn't believe it. We go there all the time. And at first there was just a chaos. Folk were like shouting and pointing out. And I was like, oh no, somebody's drowning and I can't swim. But there's loads of other people, but I should look like I know what I'm like. And then I realized it was positive news. And then I was like, dolphins, kids, memories. No. Oh my days. I still see them.
Oh my God.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had a couple of days in Edinburgh where if I'd gone to the sea and seen a dolphin, it would have repaired everything that had come before that day. But also I feel like that's a little thing where I'm like, don't tell everyone, because you'll turn up and be like, all the people I don't want to see are here fucking around with the dolphins, and I'm just trying to have a bit of peace and to get some nature into my bones. And there's 8,000 clowns and a bunch of stand-ups I don't want to talk to. And they're looking at me going, why are the musical comedians here, for fuck's sake?
And so what about you then? What's your top tip for surviving the Fringe?
What I was going to say, I think I touched on it earlier, but going to see things that are nothing to do with what you do is one of mine. And from a performer point of view, not reading reviews. Yes. I know it's an each to their own. But
actually, that's the best one. That's the biggest one. We did that for the first time last year.
Best month of my life.
Oh, it was amazing.
It's very freeing, isn't it?
It's extremely freeing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's incredible. And it reminds you why Edinburgh is so fun.
Yeah. The idea that you could be having the best time and you're blissfully unaware that absolutely everyone else is like, this is the worst thing on the Fringe. I've never seen anything so terrible. If you read someone doesn't like your show, you can start to believe that it's not a good show. Yeah. But if I don't know anything else that anyone else is saying, in my brain, I'm having the best time. The show is amazing. Everyone's laughing. People are coming. And I don't need to know anything else to get through this month. Not in a delusional way, because you do the work to make sure that the show is working. So you're not doing a terrible show and believing that it's amazing. But I just, for the month, for my own personal mental survival, I just need to not know what other people think of me for a month.
Yep. I mean, we should all remind ourselves that Scatman John's album, Scatman World, got no stars from Q. And I think they'll regret that, as it has aged marvelously.
100%.
One of my top tip underdog albums. Give it a listen. Anyway, Scatman John aside.
It's a great Edinburgh night in. Scatman John and an Italian sauce.
Fascinating guy. Great story, honestly. Right. So anyway, listen, thank you so much for joining us. Okay. Can't wait to hear how the birds goes. I really hope that it is a pure, I want to say smash, but that it gets that space inside of you excited, that it has done many ways along the journey, and that it leads to more or the next thing in a way that's fun and exciting for you both. So Nicola and Rosie, thank you so much for joining us, and Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Do like and subscribe and all that stuff I said at the start. Our next guest is going to be Mark Watson. I hope you join us for that. And if you have an audience question for them, do send it in to the socials that I mentioned. It's all in the information below. And I can't wait to stop this sentence. So I would say cheerio. That's all I need to do is say bye. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.